Okay, everybody, how you doing? It's TIETS here again at TIETS Informationals, and today we're going to be talking about one of the latest from Queen's game, NEPTUN. That's right, it doesn't have an E. NEPTUN without an E, although the trident kind of looks like an E, so it's almost like they're saying Neptune with an E. But anyway, this is NEPTUN, Durkheim's latest game as well. And this game, basically, you are, guess what? You're Roman merchants traveling in the Mediterranean delivering goods. A theme that has never been done before. Okay, all right, so it is a pretty common theme, but in this case, we're not necessarily we're not picking up goods, as in your normal pick up and deliver game. We're picking contracts that have goods in them that we're going to deliver to the different cities, and then we're going to gain either gold or favor from the gods, and whoever has the most appreciation from the gods at the end of the game is going to win this baby. There are no ties. So anyway, of course, as always, Queen's game, awesome production, great looking board, great looking pieces. Let's take a look real quickly on setup and a brief synopsis on how to play this game. And then we'll come back and I'll give you my humble opinion, which whether it matters to you or not quite sure. But I'm going to give it to you, and then you can decide whether or not, hey, I want to add this to my ever-growing Queen's game catalog, which I don't have enough room on that shelf, so now I have Queen's games here and Queen's games here. But at least I know they're Queen's games because they all have the same look. Some are a little bit more narrow, which kind of throws a twist into it, I know. Some are short, some are small, but they all have the same look. You know when it's a Queen's game. So anyway, without further ado, which is, I don't know why I always say that, but let's talk about NEPTUN from Durkheim and Queen's games. Here's the box. We can take an up-close look at the artwork. Of course, always with the classic Queen's games look. And here is, of course, the wonderful inserts that they always give us that are so cool looking. So fit right into your collection that way. So here's what the board looks like. We're going to sail the Mediterranean as Roman merchants. We're going to be able to deliver to these temples in here to earn gold and favor for the gods. And so that's how it works. So real quick, we're just going to go over a basic setup so you can see what we have here, and then we'll get into how you play the game. Okay, now we're going to take a closer look on the setup of the game. Today we're going to play with purple, red, and green. We're going to take the 3 ships of each different color. They're going to go on Crete here, Greece, on this little island. Then each color token, you'll have 3 on the gold temple, and then you're going to have 3 on each additional temple. So here you have Spain, Italy, Greece, Asia, and Africa. Those are going to be the temples where you're going to be scoring points. Then each player is going to get a player board in their color. You can see this one is purple. These are the contract boards. Very cool. They're color coordinated, so everyone will know who they are. You're going to get 5 of these gold coins. And then they're going to get their 2 starting navigation cards or rowing cards, and they have the wind factor on them and then the nautical miles they can travel. So everyone's going to get their 2 starting cards in their color. Then you're going to take each of the temple scoring favor tokens. They're going to be labeled A, B, and C. There's 1 for round A, 1 for round B, and 1 for round C. We'll talk about those going forward. And the farther away the temples are from the starting point, the more value the different favor tokens are. So Spain being the farthest, those are going to be the most. Then you're going to have your 3 piles of cards. You're going to have your contract cards, which we'll talk about in better detail here in a minute. You're going to have your goods cards, which we'll take a look. You're going to have salt. You're going to have wheat. You're going to have olives, honey, and I believe grapes. Those are going to be all of the goods cards, and then you're going to have a stack of the navigation cards. So once you get all that stuff separated, then you're going to have your nautical miles tokens, which are all going to be different values. And basically those are going to make up the distance and how many nautical miles it takes to get in between each city. So you have variables throughout the game. So you're going to mix these up. Then you're going to take these. You're going to place them on all the individual dots. The black ones are going to go on the black ones, which are for farther distances across the Mediterranean. And when you get all that set up, you're going to be ready to play NEPTUN. And one of the things I didn't mention is the wind. The wind here, this is always going to start on 5. This is the wind token, And this is going to be your win predictor, which you're going to adjust. The win's going to adjust between every time you select a contract. So you're going to put, this is always going to start on 5. This is going to get set aside until we're ready to place it. Again, just to clarify, these are actually city cards, these are goods cards, and these are ore cards, and that's what's going to go ahead and set up your contracts. So real quick, I want to show you inside the manual here. So we're just going to take a quick look to help kind of explain how this game goes. So with all Queens games, they're usually relatively simple to learn. This one is a little bit more detailed than the normal Queens game, but still easy to learn and quick to play. So there's 3 rounds, and in each round there's going to be 3 phases. The first phase is going to be acquiring contracts, and that's going to happen in 5 turns. So we'll explain that first. Then you're going to have phase 2, which is fulfilling contracts, and that's going to be in 5 turns, with the possibility of 2 extra turns, and we'll talk about that. And then you're going to have the score phase. You're going to do all that once, twice, and 3 times, and then at the end, whoever has the most favorite points is going to win the game. Okay, so you're going to select your starting players randomly for the first phase. So we have purple, red, and green. Then we're going to come over here, and we're going to set up for our selecting contract. So you're going to have 1 card and then 1 additional for each player. So you're going to have a total of 4 cards here for a 3-player game. So you set those up. And then the first player is going to be able to start and select. So they're going to flip their first contract farthest to the left. And we can see here that this contract is for Paragon, and it looks like they're looking for grapes. So grapes, and then the ore card. So this ore card, basically how this works is if we deliver these grapes to Asia, into the city of Paragon, we're going to get either 2 favor points or 2 gold points. And then what's going to happen here is we're going to get +3 win factor that we're going to put in, and that's going to be for the following round. And then we're going to have 3 movement points. So the question is how far do you want to move? Paragon's pretty close. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select this contract. So I would take this contract and the win factor and the ore card. And then what I'm going to have to do first is I'm going to have to place this contract, and I'm going to have to decide if it's going to go in slot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are going to have to be placed in order. Kind of my goal is to see if I can deliver all 5 of my contracts and collect one of these cool little extra bonus ships for 2. It can be difficult to deliver all 5, but you want to try to strategically set it up so depending on where you want to go on the board, you can go ahead and put these in. So in this case, Paragon is pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this one in the 2nd slot. And then the next thing I would do is I would take my ore card and I would look at this number right here, and it's a 3. So my token would move to the 3 spot. Then what's going to happen is the next player is going to go, and they're going to select, they're going to say, okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. Okay, this one is a 2, it's to Rome, it's for wheat. It's got a +1 wind and a 4 ore. Rome's pretty far away. That's only a 2. I'm going to take my chances and I'm going to go with another one. So then I flip this one. Now once I flip the next row, I cannot go back and take this row. I have to take this one, or this one if I choose to. So here we go. This one is grapes for 1. I don't want that, although that's an okay ore. So now I'm going to go to the next one. Tyros, that's close to home, and it's grapes. I don't really have a choice, so I'm going to have to take this one. So if I'm the red player, I take that. My ore card is in number 1, so I'm going to move to the 1 spot, and then I'm going to place these. Let's say I place them in number 1, and the ore card becomes part of my deck. Then finally, I have the green player is going to go, and he can pick either one of these. He's going to go ahead and take this one from Rome. Going to put it into his 3rd slot, let's say. Or card says 4, so he's going to move to 4. That's going to become part of his ore deck. And then, when that's over, these are going to slide over. We're going to add, since it's face up, we're going to add 1 gold to the top. So if someone takes this in the next round, or the next turn of this round, or this phase, they're going to get an extra coin, gold coin. Then the final part of this, first turn of this phase, it's going to go, player order is going to go right like this. Now, if 2 people were on the same, the lower token is always going to be the next player. Then we're going to proceed with contracts. We're going to reload it up, and we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to do that 5 times until everybody has 5 contracts. And then we would proceed to the next phase. And the order is, of course, this time, red's going to select first, purple second, and green third. Okay, so now in the first round, we're going to enter into phase 2, which is the fulfillment stage, which is where you're actually going to be traveling around with your ships and trying to deliver goods to the different temples. So what's going to happen is you're going to look at your hand of cards, your ore cards, and you're going to go, okay, so I need to travel to wherever you're trying to go. Let's say I'm trying to go to Athens, basically. And I'm going to go, okay, so I need 8 nautical miles to get from the start point to Athens to make that delivery of my honey. So I'm going to look at my cards and I'm going to go, okay, so right now the wind factor is at 0, which means 5. So that's 5 extra nautical miles I'm going to be able to travel. In addition, if I play this card, which gives me 3, that's going to take care of my 8 that I need to travel. The other thing I have to consider is for the following turn, this plus 3 is going to be add up with my 2 opponents' cards to create what the win factor is going to be for the next round that we travel. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this one. You're going to play it face down. Your opponents are going to take their 2 cards and play them face down. Then you're going to pull all 3 of these cards together. And you're going to go, okay, so first thing you're going to establish is the wind. So -3 plus 3 plus 1, that means it's going to be a total of 1. So the little predictor token that I showed you earlier, this one, is going to go on the +1. So we know next round, in addition to whatever is on my card, I'm going to get to travel another 6. So I'd be able to travel 12 nautical miles total. One other thing you can do is if, let's say you, like here is 8 and 5, which is 13. Let's say I needed to travel all the way to here. I'm short 1. I can always pay 1 gold to travel an additional nautical mile, which makes gold valuable. Also, saving your gold makes it valuable because there is also a gold temple. And at the end of each round, based on how much gold you have, you can win these favor tokens as well. So once all those are played, these go back. These are the ore cards you're actually going to play this hand. So I would get to keep this one. And then my opponents would both keep theirs that they get to travel 6. Then what I would do is, if I was the first player, and let's just say that I was, this is always going to be however it ends up in your 5th round of the contract phase. So I would play my 3 plus my 5. I would move to Athens here, and then I would deliver my honey. And then I would have my choice. I could collect 2 gold or 2 steps up in the favor temple. So in this case, I'm going to move up 2 in the favor. And you're going to continue to go around these temples through all 3 rounds. These guys never get put back on 0. So as you're gathering, if you won, you may win this favor for this round, but you got to stay in front to continue to win the favor markers. Then these are going to go into a discard pile. All 3 of these. Slide these over and create a discard pile. So these are all going to go in a discard pile, and that's important for at the end of the round. Then every single player is going to take their turn in order, based on this order, and do everything they can for the next 5 turns to deliver all of their goods. Another important factor to know is that these contracts have to be delivered in order. So let's first say I couldn't get to Pergamon, and I went straight to Carthago, and I wanted to deliver this. So I deliver this one. I can no longer deliver that one, and it's going to go face down in front of me. But I deliver that, goes to the discard pile, and I move on. Of course, if I can deliver all 5 of these, I'm going to get this token. Okay, so once all 5 turns are completed, I can say, all right, I'm done. But in this case, we can see, all right, I have this extra contract to Rome. I'm really close to Rome. I think I could probably finish this contract with one more move. So then there becomes this 5-1, 5-2. So 2 additional possible rounds for people that haven't delivered all their contracts. We can see over here the red players delivered all theirs. But if I'm just saying, okay, I want to deliver. So the win factor is not going to change. But I can still get to Rome, let's say, with a 5. And I say, okay, I want to take my extra turn. I can utilize one of these cards. And it can be either one of the starting cards or another card, another or card that I have from this round. Then I can play that, move, complete that contract. I can do that 2 times during the whole game. Once I run out of my 2 extra cards and I only have 5 or cards, that's the most I can do. Okay, one other delivery item to keep in mind is, let's say that I'm delivering to Asia right here, and I have an opponent here and another opponent that has a 3 delivery that they might do. And I say, okay, hey, you know what? I want to make sure I'm in front, so I get these 2 favor points. Once per delivery, you have to be delivering there. I can't just land here and decide, hey, I want to move this. So if I'm delivering here, once per delivery, I can pay 3 additional gold and move myself 1 extra space. Now, even if red gets a 3, they're on top of me. I was there first, so I get this favor point in the scoring round. Once everybody's delivered all their contracts and the contracts round is done, you're going to take all of these piles, with exception of any of these played starting cards, they're going to return those to the box. You're going to take all the played or cards, all the played good cards, and all the played city cards, and you're going to reshuffle those for the next round. So these are all going to be reshuffled. If you have a contract that's left over, that's going to stay there for the next round. Okay, for the purposes of talking about phase 3, which is the scoring phase, we're going to imagine that this was the end of the round B, which would be the second round. So for example, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to check to see if anyone delivered all 5 of their contracts. If they did, as we've mentioned many times, they're going to get one of these 2 bonus ships to be scored at the end of the game. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to take a look. It's really who's ahead. Red's farthest ahead, so they're going to get this 6. Green's going to get the 3, and purple's not going to get anything. So we just go down the line. Green gets 6, purple gets 2, etc., etc., etc. So you score all the temples. Then you come to gold. Whoever has the most gold in their possession is going to be going to get the 3. The second person is going to get the 1. In case of a tie, it's whoever's highest up in the turn order track. So that's going to happen there. And then you're going to take all those favor tokens to be scored at the end of the game. And that's how you score the round. Then once that's done, everybody's going to move their ships back to Create. All these are going to be shuffled. Get ready for the next round. You're going to take all these off and you're going to replace them with the C's. And there's going to be 3 for the next final scoring. So you're going to do all that. And then you're going to start over with the contract round, then the fulfillment round, and then the scoring round. Once you do that 3 times, game's going to be over and you're going to be ready to do final scoring. Final scoring is really simple. Take all your favor tokens, score them up. Whoever has the most wins the game. There is no tiebreakers, so if 2 people have the same amount of favor points, it's going to be a tie and they're going to share the victory. And that's all she wrote, my friends. Whew. All right. So that was really brief, quick. Hopefully you figure out how to play the game from that. If not, email me. I can clarify whatever rules. There are some rules that are a little bit kind of off the cusp there in the rule book. Like we're never quite sure. Do you score the guys if they're still in 0? We said no because it doesn't make sense. If you've never gone to that temple, then why should you get any favor points for them? There is always still a little bit of argument about, hey, if you're the last person in the first round to get a contract in your first tier, that means you're first to deliver every time, and you get to go first at the beginning of the next round. So there were some questions around that. I think, honestly, since you can go to the same spaces, going first in the delivery rounds isn't as critical. As a matter of fact, sometimes it's better to go later so you can see where people are going and get an idea. So I think there's advantages to first, second, or third on that. So I think that's probably why that was left out. The other rule, obviously, every time, it doesn't really say, but every time you select that new win predictor for the next round, it always goes back to 0. So you don't want to be like -4 and the next time it's -4, so it's just at -5 or positive all the time. It's always going to go here. We did find that it is somewhat difficult to deliver all 5. It can be done, but it's not so easy. And sometimes you can kind of see, hey, I'm ahead in that temple, I don't need to go there. I can skip those and just go get these and try to get my points here. And that's usually how you're going to end up winning, is by doing that. If you spend, I think, too much time trying to figure out how to get there, how to fulfill all 5, more than likely you're probably not going to win, because you're going to get caught up in something, a different wind or something that didn't work out for you. So you try to make it the easiest and try to be smart about which one of these you're going to win, and definitely try to get ahead of them early. You don't want to get way behind, because then there'll be never any really reason to go there. So with all that said, how do I feel about Neptune? Well, I don't know. I did go to Sicily once, and the water there is the bluest and most amazing water I've seen, and I've traveled, as a scuba diver a lot. But so I like the Mediterranean Sea. Do I like this game? I like it. It's okay. It's not my favorite. I don't think that there's, really a reason. I mean, I don't know what god you're building favor with here in these different temples. So that's kind of tacked on. So I think there are some interesting things. It does get a little mechanical. Contract, deliver, score. Let's do it again. With that said, there is strategy to the game. It's a little bit on the medium side. It's not light for light gamers, although they, newer gamers could probably play it. I don't know how well they would do against regular gamers. Again, if you collect all the Queen's games, maybe you want it. I used to be that way, where I had to have every Queen's games. Now there's a couple that I didn't get. This has some Queenies, some expansions. So if you did the Kickstarter, you probably got the 3 extra expansions. And I haven't got too much into those, but they might make the game a little bit more interesting. So anyway, I'm partial. I'd probably give it a 6.5, 7 out of 10. I would play it again if someone asked me. So there it is. Fabulous, my friends. Neptune from Durkheim, and enjoy it if you get it. And if you don't, you don't. Anyway, that's thanks for watching. Take it easy, and see you next time.